If you're journaling, meditating, grinding, and still feel like a ghost in your own life, this isn't burnout, it's spiritual castration by systems designed to neuter your power. Let's break the hypnosis and reroute your energy into content that cashes out. If you're tired of fighting shadows and want to build actual structure, grab the Unruly Blueprint now. It's the law-coded foundation for turning pain into power and content into cash. Link in the description below. Point 1, the trap of misaligned obedience. Listen, a lot of us, I've been there too. A lot of us go through this journey on a spiritual level that we understand that we're doing the right things to garnish results, right? But they might not be aligned with the spiritual architecture that we need. So as you see here, the right action with the wrong spiritual architecture is going to fuck you up. Right? But let's start before we get ahead of ourselves here. We have to understand that you can obey a routine, right? You can obey a routine and still misobey law and disobey law. Pause right there. What does that mean? Obeying routine simply means you get up on time, you wash your face, you do all the things that get you in the mode to move. Right? And they get you in the mode to move, yes. And so if you're not ready yet to get to a certain goal, which is law. So law is the breakdown of mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. If you are in the mindset to have an overarching goal for your life, you're disobeying law if you do anything that goes against what your true goal is. So let's say you have a goal of creating content that cash flows. Right? Because realistically, like I said, there's going to be phase 1 was all about understanding law and fighting your inner war. Phase 2 is introducing cash flow. So if everything that you're doing within law is to fortify a structure that can hold cash flow through the means of making content, you have to allow that motion or that movement that you get after you do your routines to be fueled towards then making content. So if you get up, wash your face, do all the things that you need to do, and now it's time to go make content, you have to now structure your ideas. You need to fuel your body with food that allows you to have endurance, not bullshit, right? And all of these routines that you may be obeying, hello, you could be going to the gym and staying there for 3-4 hours for no reason because you saw a fitness influencer doing it and you thought it was a part of your goal and because you need to be fit. That's not obeying law in regards to how it should be structured in your life, right? You could be hearing this look-smaxing bullshit, so you go out shopping looking for the best clothes all the time, thinking that you're going to maximize the way that you come off to clients or people that you're speaking to online. Right? Not necessarily geared towards your goal, but you're following a routine that isn't yours. Huh? Getting somewhere? Okay, cool. You might be meditating over and over and over and over and over. Right? Thinking that, okay, cool. If I meditate and do my namaste and do my rituals and my routine as I've seen it, might be journaling, and still not be obeying law. Law is simply the whatever goal that you have in the top of your brain that you want to become and or get to. You have to follow a structured way of moving to get there. Vibration requires you to move. That's one of the universal laws. You have to move. Okay, cool. But if you're not moving in the right direction, or it's based out of ego, because a lot of the things that we do is based out of our ego, and our ego doesn't necessarily align with our goal, we're going to be following the wrong routines for the wrong reasons, which then brings me to point 2, which, or the next side, which is the right action with the wrong spiritual alignment. You're going to the gym. You're doing what you have to do in the gym, but you're doing it out of ego. You're ego lifting. You're entering these competitions that you don't really need to. It's more out of ego rather than fueling towards the goal that you know you want. If it's building a fitness business, sure, you should be at the gym over and over and over again. But if you're building a content fortress digitally online to broadcast your art, do you need to be in the gym 4 hours a day? Fuck no. A lot of you have to take the time to assess what you're doing in a day-to-day routine because you're doing the right actions, but you're not doing it with the right spiritual architecture to bring you to the goal that you have in your mind. So your goal really isn't fortified by law. It's fortified by your ego. And that's not spiritual architecture that you need. While ego is a very big part of us and it should transform, right? It should change. You should go through multiple ego deaths to realize what you are and what you aren't. But if you try to do the right actions with the wrong spiritual architecture, you're going to end up nowhere. And so what does that then lead you to? The circle of fake whys. And I think this right here, can we pause right here for 2 seconds? The circle of the fake why is what trips up every man looking to go after a bigger goal than himself. Why? Because what he understands is his why is too shallow to really attach to his true goal, right? So we all have this goal of being successful in whatever facet we see. But if we attach the wrong fucking why to it, we're not going to get there. For example, I'm at Coke working my 9 to 5. Okay, cool. Working a 9 to 5 is a great start. You have to get money somehow, right? So use your 9 to 5 to fuel the business that you're looking to get after. Great. I understood at Coke that I'm going to have to work intensively to get money to get to the goal. Like I said in yesterday's video, I went to Coke and allowed that routine of doing and providing not only for myself, but the people I was around with the finances that Coke gave me. I allowed that to fuel my lifestyle. Right action, wrong spiritual alignment. Spiritual architecture. It was wrong. It wasn't coded correctly. But I'm not realizing that the right action that I'm doing by handling all of the things that you have to as a masculine man, which is your structure, your home, your girl, your dog, your apartment, right? All of these things are obligated to you as a man, but you're not then realizing that you're also locking yourself into the Coke revenue instead of expanding your mind to know that you can take some of that portion of that money and put it towards your business. I allowed the business to go to the back burner. That's why I was there for a little longer. And you might be going through the same shit where it's like you set out to go into your 9 to 5 to get money to fund your business, but the money was sweet because you came from a hard point in time to get a new 9 to 5, whether it be coming out of college, whether it be leaving a 9 to 5 to go to a different 9 to 5 because it paid you more. Right? You're taking that revenue to fuel a lifestyle that you weren't supposed to be connected to or tethered to. Right? So I finally get out of Coke. I finally get some movement because I'm doing all the things I need to do. I'm working late nights. I'm waking up at 4 o'clock, going to Coke, clocking in at 6, and then working until 4:30 p.m. the next day, getting home at around 6 p.m. to then work by going to the gym and starting my 6 to 1 a.m. shift, going to the gym, eating correctly, building up my content ideas here, reading, right? And I finally get out of Coke. I finally say, shit, cracking code. I get out. I got the bread. Perfect. Now I'm attaching myself to a new why, right? Because now it's like, oh shit. Not only can I continue to obligate myself to my duties, but I also have another why, which is make more revenue within business. I want to be one of the greats, one of the best. So now it's a why of, okay, we need to get more money now because now I'm seeing a gateway to everything that I knew was possible. Retiring parents, right? Retiring your girl, buying a home, getting the car that you want, right? Those are all the whys in my brain at this stage. But again, you then move into cash flow, getting all the things you want. The women, you get to travel, you eat good, you're flying, you're in Miami, you're getting suits with your name on it. You're big baller now. Cool, you're really getting into the nitty gritty of that why. Can I retire my mom? Can I retire my girl? Right? Can I get the bitches I want? Can I fly anywhere? Can I be that guy? Right? That doesn't have to deal with the rules of a civilian man. Cool, I'm there, I'm having it. Perfect. That is my why. The work starts to really get sweet now. As a content creator, what you're going to realize is people are going to gravitate to you because not only do you not work in their realm, it's a flashy realm to be in. Right? You don't live the ordinary lifestyle. You're not a civilian man anymore. So therefore, you get attention. You get drinks. Hey, so listen, content creators get drinks for free sometimes. Bro, I would go to restaurants and drink for free. Yes, I had a client list of 60% restaurants. So I would literally bounce from restaurant to client to client to client to client to client, eating free, drinking free, but then it consumes you to a degree because you forgot. You forgot that this isn't the why, right? That's not the overarching goal for real. No, that's not. Okay, cool. Now watch. Very enticing. You see shit like that every single day. That's an enticing thing. Bro, I was dealing with that every single day, right? You're going out to hotels every single week, realistically. You see women, you can get anybody you want, right? Because your image is there, the money's there, you got the car, you got everything you need, right? So you're getting the things that you want. However, they don't talk about this part where it consumes you, and that fake why is what kills you. Okay, cool. Well, I'm getting somewhere. Stay with me now. The fake why here is the money, is the cars, is the traveling, is the girls. All of that is a byproduct. And that's what a lot of us men attach our why to. We attach our why to the money. We attach our why to the girls. We attach our why to retiring our family, even if you want to go to a more noble route, right? That's not the goal here. You got to attach your why to something 10 times deeper, because once you achieve those things, let's scroll back over here. Once you achieve those things, you start to go downwards. Because you realize, oh shit, I got everything I set out to get. What the fuck is next? And a lot of folk get complacent. A lot of men get comfortable. You see the fall off of men. They get everything they want because the fake why wasn't enough to sustain the business. Was not enough. And therefore they lose everything that they've gained. And I'm here to tell you, if you have a fake why, you better get rid of that shit right now. And start to move in the direction of getting a real why with some hardcore tether lines, right? Because when life gets sweet, that is when you get complacent. That is when the women seep in. That is when the traveling seeps in. That's when them $3,000 suits seep in, right? You starting to spend, live the life, eat good, fly anywhere you want. Cool. Right? You're outside of the civilian realm, but that shit can sweep you off your feet and take you high in the air and become a dopamine source for you that you don't even realize that you're leaving the why that you should be tethered to keep you grounded. Right? And so you lose it. Everything over here can't sustain your business. No woman, no travel, no money, no car can sustain your fucking life the way that a true why would. And so therefore you have to really ask yourself, what is that why? Why am I doing what I'm doing? What is the outcome that I'm looking for, and how and what happens when I do get that outcome? And is that outcome even achievable in my lifetime? That's why I tell you in previous videos, I don't attach myself to the byproducts, and you shouldn't either. The byproducts are going to come regardless, right? They're going to come. I promise you, and they almost come overnight. The woman that you think you want, she's going to come. The places that you want to fly to, you can go to, right? And after a while, it gets redundant. Like, how much more is there to see? What more is there to buy? Because when you get into the hypercars, when you get into the women, you get into the sex with women, right? You're flying to great hotel, 5-star hotels, 70 fucking feet in the air is where the lobby's at. You chilling, right? You have everything you need. Okay, what more is there? You travel all around the world to try all of these different things, and then you start to get numb. And then once that numbness sets in, it's almost like Novocaine, where you just lose feeling. So you have to tether yourself to something that you know is not achievable in your lifetime. And that's why I say dig deeper than what you think you are or what you have as why right now. And if you have why as these fake whys like money, car, women, get it out of your system right now. The next point is algorithmic hypnosis, the modern mind control, right? It's dopamine loops. Like I said before, if you don't get into the why, you're going to always be in this dopamine loop over and over and over and over and over again. And that's why you feel like a ghost, because nothing gives you fuel anymore. Nothing gives you the oomph anymore. There is no vigor behind why you do shit anymore, because all you do is scroll all day. And you look for pussy all day. Then you get a little money and you're like, ooh, that feels good. So then you go spend to give you more stimulant in your life that's numb. Because you realize everything around you is going to shit, realistically. Right? If you're still working at a 9-to-5 and you get promoted, let's say, you get more money to soothe the fucking pain that life comes with. Right? A lot of you haven't been punched in the jaw hard enough. So when life just cuts you a little bit. You get a fucking paper cut by life. You start to get sad, but then you get a reward, right? You get more of a fucking lollipop. But the lollipop is only to shut you the fuck up over that little paper cut so they can fuck you, right? And then they do so. And so what do? You run to more dopamine loops to try to soothe the pain. That's not going to fucking work. You cannot disguise your purpose with dopamine loops. Your purpose isn't to be the streamer. Your purpose isn't to create content to get the cash flow, right? What happens when you get the cash flow? It has to be deeper. So the dopamine loops is what you start to cover and disguise as your purpose. Fuck that. Your purpose isn't to go to the clubs and buy bottles for everybody and chill out and be the that's a byproduct. You got to dig deeper, bro. Dig deeper. So what does that digging deeper look like? The vital, feed your soul the vitals over what's viral. Follow your vitals, not the things that make you viral. The things that make you viral are going to castrate you. You're going to lose yourself. I see a lot of fucking people on the internet losing themselves to trends, losing themselves to the things that they think works out, right? So you're being built by trends, not law. You're not building content for yourself, for your artistry, for a bigger why, for a purpose that's so big that you're gonna have to teach your children how to operate correctly and continue the throne. Right? You're not building it for that purpose. You're building it for trends because it's cool. And you want the status, you want the money, and you want the women. I'm here to tell you, when you set your goal so big that it can't be achieved in your lifetime, all of those things come regardless because you're aiming at something that many don't. Right? Many don't aim for that. And therefore, when you are the one who does it and continue to see it and you find structure around making sure that you can get there, and if you were to ever grasp it now, that you have the structure to wield it and give it to the generations after, women bow to that. Money comes to you regardless, right? Regardless of what you think about what you're doing, and if it's not being fulfilled right now, it still finds its way to you because you've attached yourself to a deeper why. You have a deeper drive for things. That voice, that soul conviction that we spoke about a few videos ago, it comes out easier. You're no longer having to deal with dopamine because the struggle of getting to that goal with all the structures put in place is enough to stimulate you. There's no need to follow trends at that rate. My why is too big. My purpose is too concrete. So a lot of you are building out of this idea of trends and not law. Fuck the trends. Yes, will you have to use trends within content to place yourself? And are there psychological hacks behind the trends that you'll use? Of course. But does that mean that you attach your sole purpose to creating a viral video that was done by somebody else to then repurpose and do it yourself, to then attach your identity to, and that becomes your why? No. And that's why a lot of you will feel miserable and you're numbing yourself that much further because you're disguising your purpose as dopamine, right? So what you really want to do is understand how you can feed yourself the vitals, the things that ground you in law, the things that put your goals so high in the top of your mind at that number one spot of mentalism so that you can keep it there. So that now the law of correspondence will show you that you've been keeping it at the top of your head. Let's show you what your life looks like with that goal in hand. Okay, cool. Then the vibration, which is just your movement, you're now doing things to keep that goal up top. Because if you're doing that goal up top and you want the universe and you want the energetic field to reciprocate what you're seeing, and it will, if you hold it long enough with strong enough passion and conviction. Now you're moving and you're vibrating at that frequency all the time. Now, like I said before, the byproducts have no choice but to come to you because the byproducts are a part of the goal. The universe is not going to keep you broke. The brokenness that you have is in your mind. No one's telling you to be broke. And the only reason you may be broke right now is because you yourself are telling yourself that you can't do it. You are telling yourself, ooh, I'm new to this. You are telling yourself, ooh, maybe I can't trust. Ooh, what is law? How does that work for me? How could I figure out a routine that works? Because you're being indoctrinated by a system that wants to fuck you, but give you dopamine loops to keep you with the blinders on. And then you think that because you have the blinders on, and you had them on for so long, that that's your purpose. I'm here to tell you, suffering is not your purpose. And abundance comes naturally, but you have to unlock it. And to unlock it, you have to use the laws of the realm by finding a goal that you can keep in your mind and then doing all the things required of you to make sure that it comes to fruition, which is keeping it at the top of your mind, and the world's going to reciprocate that to you. But you have to also be at the same vibration. Polarity means that you're going to have opposition to that goal, and you must polarize yourself all the way to the side where your goal is achieved. Rhythm then states that if you continue to do the right steps over and over and over rhythmically, so just have it in your mind every single day and do the things that are geared towards it every single day, you're going to emit an energy onto the energetic field that shit has to come to you, right? And all of the abundances that come with it. And so the cause and effect is that you're putting in a cause to get an effect of the overall goal. And gender is that you're giving the goal your masculine disciplines to get it to come to you. And honestly, it's not getting it to come to you. It's that you just become it. And therefore everything associated with it has to gravitate to you. So don't worry about, where's the money going to come? The money's going to come the second you decide that goal is worth living by and structuring your life with law and not allowing your nervous system to get out of whack when the money comes. Because like I showed you up here, it's very easy to slip into the money, the women, and the traveling, and then lose sight of the goal that you had in your mind. And then you wonder why, when you get to these spots where you have all the bread, you then go into another cycle loop of having to get another 9 to 5 because you never saw your goal through. Right? So understand your why, attach yourself to it deep enough so that even when the money comes, even when the traveling comes, you can stick to it. Right? So you want clarity, start building. You want to get paid, start posting. The longer you figure it out, the more you rot. Inside the scrolls, I teach you how to turn your law into long form and cash flow. Right? The link is in the description below. So lastly, realignment through structure and content. You don't need more healing. You do not need more healing. You need to weaponize a schedule that is fortified by law. And again, what is law? Keeping that goal, whatever it is, at the top of your brain. And I suggest you find one that's deeper than just money, pussy, and power. I'm trying to tell you, in the cars and all that, that's a byproduct, right? So look here, when I started to actually tap into my true powers of the goal of making content so that I could get the cash flow, so that I could give you the overarching goal, which is to help men. And I could speak to you from a place of doing so that you can see that it's possible. You will now open up yourself to an abundance, but then also then hear that, okay, cool, this abundance requires me to move with structure. And this requires me to be masculine. And this requires me to use responsibility. That has always been my goal, to be a part of the masculine push when the world tries to make it go backwards. So we stand firm and make sure that there are men, that I'm a beacon for men to see that this life is possible and you can do it while being masculine while the world goes backwards. Right? So I use content to my advantage. Right? So you really don't need to heal anymore. A lot of you have done too much of the fucking healing. You in the spiritual space so fucking long, you lost your idea of who you are. Right? You just think it's namaste and meditation. No. Start moving now. And we're in the digital realm. Yo, bro, if you're not making content, you're late. Right? You're behind. Make content. So listen, I start to really use my powers to make content. Not only for myself, but for businesses to help them flourish. And that content strategy has paid me. And the structures have continued to stand firm because it supports the overarching goal of helping the masculine race, right? So then, to weaponize your schedule through content, now what you need to do is go to the gym. You need to travel only when necessary. Right? You need to go to these places to experience things with clients, though. You see the difference? Before I was going out, women, clubs, food, right? No money back, not money back, right? But relationship back to a degree. Because all the things that you go through are teaching you and are working in your favor. But if you don't realize it, you're going to lose yourself like I did. But luckily, I fucking caught it, right? So now weaponize yourself by going to the gym and structuring your life so that you don't go out just to go out for fuck's sake. Yes, while you should at some point experience that, make sure you have a tight grip on it. Because if you've come from 9 to 5 and you go from making 3-4K to now 40-50K a month, you're going to want to splurge. And is it okay to splurge? Maybe that first month, sure. Don't go into debt though. I did. Don't go into debt, because then you dig yourself another grave that you have to now climb out of, right? So I'm telling you this off of experience. I'm not telling you just because for fucks and giggles sake. No, it's real shit, bro. Real shit that you will lose yourself. And this is the shit they don't teach you, because a lot of people don't go through the true ascension period and want to expose themselves, or they really don't make the money that they say they make. Bro, I'm telling you right now, bro, those trips I was spending 6K on a hotel. Bro, I'm telling you, you'll lose yourself if you're not prepared for the money that comes. That's why I'm telling you, you must build the structure first. I tried to tell you, phase 1, before the money comes, because the money is there. Don't let anyone freak you out and tell you that money's not there. No, money is there to be had. Not for one person, but for all of us, right? But you have to be able to wield it, because money doesn't stay with people who can't wield it correctly, right? You got to treat it like a mistress. Make sure she don't fuck up your life. Watch her nicely, treat her good, right? Keep your eyes on her so you don't lose her. That's exactly how you got to treat money. And so you have to weaponize yourself by going to the gym. So fortifying your mind, understanding the goal, continuing to note that, okay, cool, this is where I'm trying to go and this is where I'm going to go. Going on these trips needs to be scheduled, right? If you're going to go see a client on the other side of the planet, if you're going to go see a client on the other side of the country, make sure everything is scheduled to a T. Make sure you have a budget. That is one of the biggest things I'd probably tell you. Have a fucking budget. Do not go on a trip without having a fucking budget. Whoever told you that you could just splurge because you're making 50 to 100K a month lied. Do not splurge yet until you've gotten your feet wet enough to understand what the fuck water is and learned how to swim. Right? So schedule that, which is just the cash flow. Because the more you schedule yourself and understand how to do it, the more cash flow will then come to you. Right? And then lastly, you always want to include some sort of experience. Now, I love to golf. Right? And the amount of people that I've met on the golf course that I still keep in contact to today and even have become clients with is, bro, the number, bro, you can't put a number on it. Right? The amount of knowledge you'll learn from businessmen that golf, right? You're golfing on a random Tuesday in the fucking afternoon with the head of finance of a company, of a VC, venture capitalist company, right? And then next thing you know, they're inquiring about your business. And then now you two are now having conversation about how you can work together, or let's go get coffee for 15-30 minutes. That 15 to 30 minutes turns into an hour. Right? You then build a connection, a bond with somebody you can always call and who will always have your back. Now understanding the structure that you have that is very different from what society is now pushing. I'm trying to tell you, money stays with people of structure. And when people find other people of structure, they want to be around those people, especially when they see that you're younger than them. They want to show you the way. But have a level of experience in there, right? So when you're going to go see clients, enjoy yourself. And you can go on trips where you mix business and experience. And I almost empower you to do so. Make sure that you're doing that, because you're going to meet a lot of interesting people in a lot of interesting places. So it makes sense so that you get a full grasp of things, along with your clients want to do cool shit too, right? They want to see shit too. And if they're already in that top part of echelon, they're going to do those things. Even if you're not used to it, you're going to learn to want to do those things. And then once you get enough experience under your belt, you're going to do those things over and over and over all the time, right? And lastly, when it comes to distractions, brother, you see me there. You see me, I had a great fucking time. I had a great fucking time. Lost a lot of fucking money though. I certainly did. I remember that like it was yesterday, right? No matter what your life looked like before you jumped into the structure that's required to get the cash flow, you cannot bend your lawful structure, the pressurized, masculine, disciplined structure that you have towards a goal, and bend it because of nostalgia. That means don't bend to go back to things that you miss. Don't bend to the dopamine that used to fuel you. Don't bend to the old man that used to fall for distractions all the time to soothe the pain of a 9 to 5. Because now that you're in business, your life now becomes a bit harder and a bit more complex, right? You're always going to be working and it's going to be stressful, right? However, do not bend back into the dopamine or dip yourself back into the lifestyle that you just left behind, because distractions will kill your cash flow faster than any. Bro, I mean, I've lost thousands of dollars within an hour off of foolishness. Just dumb shit. That doesn't mean you can't have fun while you're doing business. That means if you're gonna go have fun, make sure that it's cash flowing, right? Make sure that the fun is giving you the cash flow back. So now use content, right? Use content. Use daily content to build your masculine presence and proof. I was this small before I started fucking working out, right? I had no presence at all. I was a soccer player. Yes, I had a fucking confident mindset for the most part, but I wasn't too ready to take on business just yet because, hey, I was small and I wasn't there yet, right? But the second I started to work out, I got bigger. When you start to document the things that you are going through on a day-to-day basis, it builds the masculine presence and it builds the proof. Because had I not had this picture, right? Had I not taken that picture when I first started working out, no one would fucking know how small I was. They would always think, oh, you were always big. No, the fuck I was not. I was 164 and I thought that was nice as a soccer player, right? Now I'm 218. You don't have proof unless you're building content daily. It doesn't build that masculine proof because guess what? You won't have any storyline to tell. Like I told you in multiple videos before, you want to always document your life. Always showcase everything you're going through, good, bad, ugly, right? Because you never know when you're going to need that content. Because when you're really structured and you know that you're going to aim to that goal to the end, and you get to the end and you have nothing to show for, that also diminishes your proof in your presence. Because imagine if I didn't have any of this to showcase, right? I couldn't show you shit. But guess what? I have photos of me working, right? I have another person on my team taking pictures of me while I work, right? I bought, hey, this was an even more expensive suit, right? This was like $5K. Mr. Brown on the inside. I'm in a fucking chauffeur all day long working, right? All of these things are a part of your ascension and you have to document it. And I will always keep Coke in my mind. Always. Why? Because it was one of the hardest things for me to get through. And when I got through, I will never forget that time because I always see a Coca-Cola truck pretty much every single fucking day, right? So money doesn't flow to those who feel right, but money flows to those who move right. You have to get into that structure. You got to build yourself into a content machine that will showcase not only to the public, but to yourself that you are worthy of the things that you've gotten through. Because there are going to be times when you go through and get to a place where life gets hard, right? It's not always easy. Business is not always easy. Getting thousands and thousands upon hundreds of thousands of dollars to live a life, right? Based upon your own intellect and skill and strategy, along with serving clients and serving people that want to know how to do what you do, is not easy. And so you have to move right all the time, not just because it feels good, but because it's what you know is right within your structure that you've built. Keep your nervous system neutral and continue to move forward towards that goal, whatever goal that is for you, right? And to kind of end it and wrap it up here is you want to make sure that your why is deep. If there's nothing that you took away from me today, make sure that why is deep as fuck. Something that's multi-generational that you can start and you can hand off to the next generation to continue. Because if not, you're going to get to these heights, bro. I'm telling you, when you really want something and you go get it, you're going to get it. And when you get it, if it's material, it's going to fade. Because you're going to realize one day that everything that's material, at the end of the day, doesn't fucking matter. It helps. Get fucked up. It helps. And it feels great. But it's not going to sustain you or fulfill you on a long term. So don't be obedient to the wrong master. And if you really want to jump into this and get started, listen, I'll put the blueprint in the description below, along with the content creation scrolls to help you from starter to where I am right now, so that you can live this life and see exactly what I'm talking about firsthand. And then hopefully you make videos to help men that want to be inspired or that are inspired by you, right? And so your closing decree: you were never lost. You were lied to. Your clarity is coded in discipline. Your direction is inside your daily output. The blueprint is your spine. The scrolls are your sword. Obey law and make your way into the destiny that you desire. Consider yourself warned.